Good morning. How are you? It's Monday. I'm okay. We're going to do coffee and a card. First, we're going to start with the sound of clearing with my mother Ocean's bell in 3, 2, 1. So it is. Let's do coffee. It's hot and it's yummy. And a card with our Game of Thrones deck. Spirit and highest living light, please God. The energies are up, clearing the throat. What is in the cards for us today, please? In the highest living light, what are the cards? The 9 of Coins is coming up. This is the 3rd day in a row that the 9 of Coins comes up. The Hermit. The 5 of Spears. Okay, so you... it's something about your independence, having to hermit up with this Virgo energy. There's some Virgo eclipse coming up soon. You're going to need to be defending, okay, or sparring here in your art, your industry, whatever it is. The 9 of Spears, really. So it seems like you're going to be going to war for something or defending yourself in some way, shape, or form. Like you may first be practicing and then maybe not going to war. Well, that's what they're doing in this deck. We'll read about it. The 9 of Spears has to do with stress, accumulating from all of your passions, and then having to work them out, like through the stress, okay? So what's the last one? The 8 of Coins. This has to do with your work, darling. What do I see? Let's read about it. Okay, are you ready? I just studied this on my favorite newsletter at tetragrammaton.com. There's an article about the 9 of Coins. And this was like, I don't know, a week ago maybe. And ever since I read that, like about the 9 of Coins, so it's crazy. So let's read it from this deck because they presented Marcel, Thoth, and our Rider-Waite Smith. So let's just get more nuanced, guys. The 9 of Coins. Fulfillment, comfort, prosperity, and focus. The 9 symbolizes satisfaction and prosperity. Financial worries are over, projects get completed, and your efforts bring material benefits, including the finer things in life. You feel happy and at home with yourself, and any past sacrifices you have made feel worthwhile. Additional meanings include redecorating and yard or garden projects. So this is what's going on, and you need to hermit up about it. I don't know. This is your one major arcana, but the ending has to do with work. This is very important, your independence in your work. Needing to cloak and protect yourself in your healing energy. Let's read about it. Solitude, spirituality, truth, reflection, wisdom, self-healing, journeys. Okay, self-healing really stands out to me here. The Hermit signifies completion and learning. You may incubate new ideas and approaches, or spend time reading, researching, journaling, or simply contemplating where you are in your life. This quiet card also invites you to take your time making decisions and generally go slow. In relationships, the Hermit can show time apart or solitude after a breakup. Additional meanings, giving or receiving, mentoring. So then that also has nuance to do with the 8 of Coins. Let's read about that. 8 of Coins. Apprenticeship, perfection, reward. This 8 is often called the apprentice card because it's about education and skill. It shows you successfully finishing a task or course of learning and completing work cleared in the throat to a high standard. This is why you need to protect it. Like there's going to be energies wanting to silence you, not wanting people, potential mentors and things like this to hear you. You need to keep your energy cleansed and protected, okay? It shows you successfully finishing a task or course of learning and completing work to a high standard. The card often comes up in readings to mark the end of a degree or diploma course, a probationary period at work, or a phase of creativity and craftsmanship. Your work brings you financial reward. He hammers his faith of the 7 coins into perfection at King's Landing. This blacksmith is doing that. So this blacksmith is hard at work, okay? And to do this beautiful, loving work that the blacksmith would do even back then, they had to really be into it. And these things would be passed down through many, many years. Fine-tuned, nuanced ways of perfecting this craft that everybody depends on so much. He doesn't only craft coins. He's got to work on people's swords and everything for the whole kingdom, which shows me this 9 of Spears and this 5 of Spears. Let's look into it. So first we've got this 5 of Spears: tests, competition, interviews, opinions, pride. Okay, so you guys hear it from me and you hear it from the book confirming some big breakthroughs and changes having to do with your work, some apprenticeship, all the work that you've put up until now. Okay, so compound interest I'm hearing. The 5 shows tests and often differences of opinion. You'll need persistence to win and perhaps even to be heard. It is important that you present your case eloquently. Okay, Virgo, with the Virgo energy. At home, too, you may be dealing with strong personalities and find it hard to tell your side of the story. On the upside, these are skirmishes, not serious battles. This is like the frustration that you get with like sisters and brothers or people that like you are working with, like colleagues or peers. Okay, and then there's like you guys testing your own limits in all the different ways, in your skills and your crafts, but also in your opinions and conversating. So that's why I send my son to school. I would much rather homeschool him, but I tell him it's a place for you to learn how to interact also with other people, and you need to be mindful also of social interactions and the way because it's not, for some people, school isn't stimulating enough. And so then you have to like add more and more nuance and intention every day to get the most out of the experience. And I just see somebody who's done that for their passions, fighting for their passions, learning how to work out their own passions and maybe translate them into words and then still receive pushback and then be diligent and push through that, holding your stance, testing your limits, and allowing others to also test your limits. Maybe there's going to be some debating or something, or just this or that kind of talking things out. And then in this actually inspiration grows because people's minds start working. How do I get past my limit? And then under like the stress of sweat and moving your body and stuff. So I'm just seeing like that you've been going through this process. The 9 of Spears: defense, determination, strength, boundaries. This is what you've created with all of your hard work. You are in a strong position, defended rather than defensive, but hard work is taking its toll. I told you, sweat. You may feel exhausted by the sheer effort it's taken to get to this point. This card can also show keeping ideas to yourself because you fear criticism or buildup of tension in creative projects. So be careful, my love. Jon Snow's determined army confronted by a Bolton wall of shields, spears aloft. So this is when Jon Snow was coming up against these bad guys. They were tired and exhausted, but still they march on. And I'm just seeing a leader who does go to the front of the lines. Wow. Let's close with the wisdom of the oracle. Focus on your work today, you guys. You've come so far. I'm so proud of you. So don't forget, we start with the 9 of coins and then we end with the 8 of coins. So whatever your idea of like what you wanted your independence in the world to look like, it seems like you're going to be having a gateway for that to build. And it seems like your resilience and psyche have been really being calibrated here when it comes to stress, your passions, and your work and what you're willing to do for that. In the highest loving light, Oracle, oh my God, I'm like, oh, what is this? It's such a huge energy all morning. Oracle, what is your wisdom? My gosh, I'm so excited for you. The Fates. Okay, let's read it. Number 17, Fates. Fate, karma, acceptance that there are things you cannot change and knowing what those things are. The Serenity Prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over, the conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by your past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit, or for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances